Diane panics, Sally's outburst, Audra's temptation. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 31st to April 4th state that Diane Jenkins Abbott will panic over some frightening news. Sally Spectra will also have an outburst before Audra Charles is tempted. First, Victoria Newman will offer Claire Newman some encouragement and acknowledge that her daughter is still concerned about Victor Newman interfering with her romance with Kyle Abbott. Victoria will want to do everything she can to keep Claire happy, and Jack Abbott will feel the same way about Kyle. In order to curb Victor's involvement, Jack will give Victoria a warning that she can take back to him. Victor, on the other hand, will be preoccupied with other plans because he is now working on several projects. In addition to pursuing Jabot, Victor is attempting to coax Aristotle Dumas out of hiding. Victor's distortion of the truth about Damien Kane will allow Lily to make allegations and other daring measures. Nonetheless, Damien will claim that Lily is mistaken and will attempt to get Nate Hastings' support. Chelsea Lawson will update Billy Abbott on some crucial developments. Billy should acquire updates on Chelsea and Adam Newman's official reconciliation, so he can make a prediction about this reunion ending in tragedy. Sally has an eruption coming up on YNR, but it should be about Adam's quarrel with Billy rather than his decision to rejoin with Chelsea. Sally's outburst should occur after Adam gets under her skin about Billy, as she has no objections to Adam and Chelsea reconciling. Later, Phyllis will stage a polite charade with Sally, who will not believe she can be trusted. Chloe Mitchell will be even less trusting of Phyllis, so she'll push Sally to plot against her and keep her out of Billy's way. Back with Jack, he'll be severe with his brother. Jack may have a suspicion that Billy is ready to veer from the positive path he has been on at Abbott Communications, so he may provide some tough love. Unfortunately, Billy is willing to work with Aristotle despite the hazards. If everything goes well, this alliance may be able to reclaim Chancellor for Billy, but it might also fail catastrophically. Meanwhile, Michael Baldwin will be drawn into more Newman drama through his work. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will sense that Michael's situation is deteriorating, so she will enlist Nikki Newman's help. Nikki will have to go against Victor's wishes if she agrees to Lauren's request, and it appears that she will do so. If Nikki derails Victor's next Jabot takedown operation, it could cause problems in their marriage. Diane will be concerned about Tracy Abbott's safety when she discovers that Tracy intends to mislead Alan Laurent aka Martin Laurent into confessing. Diane may urge Tracy to let the cops handle the situation, but Tracy will insist that she must do so. Tracy will have second thoughts later, because she is about to enter a very risky position. Martin could have a furious response if he discovers what Tracy is up to. Therefore, she will be playing with fire. Finally, Audra will receive an unexpected invitation. This might mean more alone time for Audra and Holden Novak, so he may try to seduce her. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Holden and Audra's lingering relationship could become a serious concern, so stay tuned. Viewers recognize him as Adam Newman on The Young and the Restless, but there are many things they may not know about his portrayer, Mark Grossman. The CBS serial star recently appeared on State of Mind to discuss mental health with General Hospital's Maurice Bernard, and he opened up about a very personal aspect of his life. Over talk of mental illness, the actor disclosed that, while he does not suffer from any, his younger brother does. Grossman reported that her younger brother, who was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, died on January 1, 2007. He was 19 years old, his younger brother was 17, and while he wasn't officially diagnosed until probably 3 months before he passed, the actor described how the whole progression of him getting worse occurred over 2 or 3 years. At the time, the family had no idea what had happened. I don't know what I thought about it then, like I probably thought, oh, my brother's going through a phase, said Grossman. He recalled how they both went to regular school, and how his brother suddenly decided to be homeschooled. He started to withdraw, and things just got worse and worse. Grossman explained that things worsened once he stopped hanging out with his buddies. He gained weight, wore all black, avoided public places, and showered in the dark. It took a while to get that terrible. He used to roam around the house with a bat. He was quite paranoid. And at the time, his parents had no idea what to do. When his condition worsened, They sought medical attention and received a diagnosis. However, for a while they simply did what parents do. They loved their child. He recalls seeing how much suffering his brother was in, but at 19 years old, Grossman continued, I don't think I understood what he was going through. I probably assumed, hey, he'll grow out of this. I didn't comprehend, but looking back, he was clearly in a lot of agony. The Young and the Restless, according to leaks and updates, the Aristotle Dumas story, may have another surprising twist. This mysterious billionaire has attracted a lot of interest, particularly because there are no images of him available online. Aristotle Dumas appears to be a name chosen and not given. It's apparent that Aristotle Dumas is most likely a pseudonym rather than his real name. The surname Dumas appears to be a reference to Alexander Dumas, author of The Count of Monte Cristo. It's probable that Aristotle, or whatever his actual first name is, became acquainted with Damien Cain through their mutual interest in literature. This link may explain why Aristotle wanted to include Damien in his commercial operations, allowing him to manage multiple firms. Victor Newman and Aristotle have a history of competing for business chances, although Aristotle always seems to vanish in the end. Victor admitted he had never actually met Aristotle Dumas. It is vital to note that Victor has previously admitted that he has never met Aristotle in person. Aristotle's absence can be interpreted as a decision to withdraw from the competition, rather than an actual disappearance. This enigmatic individual would make his move before suddenly withdrawing from the growing drama. What adds excitement is the continued emphasis on the fact that no one has a clear image of Aristotle, which opens up a few possibilities, particularly regarding Billy Flynn's upcoming debut. The show appears to be leading viewers to believe that Aristotle is an older figure capable of standing up to Victor. What if Aristotle was actually younger than Victor? What if the unexpected revelation is that Aristotle is considerably younger than we thought, which could explain his quiet demeanor? If Billy Flynn is playing Aristotle Dumas, perhaps he created this enigmatic identity to guarantee he demands respect, while being younger than many of his competitors. At 39, Flynn is clearly in his prime, but Aristotle has accumulated a wealth and created a massive empire over time. Alternatively, we could consider another possibility. What if Aristotle has quietly retired or died, entrusting his kid with the legacy and the opportunity to carry on his name? Will Billy be the character? Aristotle Dumas Jr.? Billy Flynn's debut could reveal the truth that Aristotle is his father, implying that Billy has stepped into his father's shoes. This could help to clarify the lingering mystery surrounding Aristotle, as well as the show's build-up to this crucial revelation. Regardless, Aristotle's name will appear as a caller on Billy Abbott's phone in the episode that airs on March 24th. The alliance between Billy and Aristotle could bode trouble for Victor, so keep an eye on the building drama. Upcoming spoilers suggest that Victor will try to coax Aristotle out of hiding, but he may be in for a surprise when that time comes. The room was thick with tension, the air almost unbreathable as Diane clutched the edge of the table, her knuckles turning white. Her mind raced, thoughts colliding like cars in a pileup. She had known this moment would come, had dreaded it, but now that it was here, she felt utterly unprepared. The weight of her secrets pressed down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. Every second that ticked by was another second closer to disaster. She had to think, had to act, but panic had her in its grip, twisting her insides into knots. Across the room, Sally stood with her arms crossed, her face flushed with anger. She had held it in for too long, biting her tongue, forcing herself to stay silent. But no more. The dam had broken, and now the words poured out of her, sharp and unrelenting. "You think I don't know?" she spat, her voice trembling with fury. "You think I haven't seen what you're doing?" Her outburst echoed off the walls, silencing everyone else in the room. There was no taking it back now, no pretending things were fine. The truth was out, and it hung between them like a blade. Meanwhile, Audra watched from the doorway, her fingers tracing the rim of her glass absently. The scene before her should have horrified her, should have made her step in and mediate. But instead, she felt something else entirely, a dark, thrilling pull. The chaos, the raw emotion, it was intoxicating. For the first time in years she felt alive. A voice in the back of her mind whispered dangerous thoughts, tempting her to fan the flames rather than put them out. What if she let it all burn? What if she walked away and let them destroy each other? The idea sent a shiver down her spine, equal parts terrifying and exhilarating. Diane's panic only grew as she registered Sally's words. How much did she know? How much had she figured out? Her mind spun with possible lies, possible excuses, but none of them felt convincing. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. The fear was paralyzing. She had spent so long carefully constructing her facade, and now it was crumbling before her eyes. One wrong move, and everything would come crashing down. Sally, meanwhile, was far from finished. The anger that had been simmering for months had finally boiled over, and there was no stopping it now. I trusted you, she shouted, her voice breaking. And you've been lying to me this whole time. The hurt in her words was palpable, cutting through the room like a knife. She had given so much, had believed in Diane when no one else had, and now she felt like a fool. The betrayal was too much to bear. Audra took a slow sip of her drink, her eyes flickering between the two women. The temptation to intervene, or to make things worse, was almost overwhelming. She had always been good at reading people, at manipulating situations to her advantage. This was no different. A few well-placed words, a subtle nudge, and she could steer this confrontation in any direction she wanted. The power was intoxicating. But did she dare? The consequences could be catastrophic, or they could be exactly what she needed. Diane finally found her voice, though it came out weak and shaky. Sally, please let me explain. But even as she said it, she knew there was no explanation that would make this right. The truth was ugly, and no amount of sugarcoating would change that. She had dug herself into this hole, and now she was staring up at the sky, wondering how she would ever climb out. Sally let out a bitter laugh. Explain? What could you possibly say that would make any of this okay? She shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. I don't even know who you are anymore. The words hit Diane like a physical blow, and she took a step back, as if trying to distance herself from the accusation. Audra set her glass down with deliberate slowness, the sound echoing in the sudden silence. She could feel the tension in the room like a live wire, humming with energy. This was her moment, the perfect opportunity to step in and take control. But did she want to be the hero or the villain? The line between the two had always been blurry for her. Diane's mind raced, searching for a way out, but every path led to ruin. She had played her cards wrong, and now she was paying the price. The panic was giving way to something else, resignation. Maybe there was no fixing this. Maybe some mistakes were too big to come back from. Sally wiped angrily at her tears, refusing to let Diane see her cry. She had been strong for so long, but even the strongest people had their breaking point. And this was hers. I'm done, she said, her voice quieter now but no less firm. I'm done with the lies, the secrets, all of it. Audra finally stepped forward, unable to resist the pull any longer. Well, this has been enlightening, she said, her tone dripping with false sympathy. But maybe it's time we all took a step back before things get even messier. Diane shot her a desperate look, silently pleading for help. But Audra's smile was unreadable. She wasn't here to save anyone, not unless it benefited her. Sally shook her head. No, there's no stepping back from this. Some things can't be undone. With that, she turned and walked out, leaving Diane standing there, stunned and broken. Audra watched her go, then turned back to Diane. Well, she said lightly, that could have gone better. Diane didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. The room was silent again, but the aftermath of the confrontation lingered in the air like smoke. Diane's panic, Sally's outburst, Audra's temptation. It had all collided in one explosive moment, leaving destruction in its wake. And as the dust settled, one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same again.